On this video, I'm gonna break down why you should stop creating for just yourself. But listen, if you're new here, my name is Ruslan. I'm an artist and creative entrepreneur, and this channel exists to empower, encourage, and inspire creative entrepreneurs to go further and dig deeper in their art. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Thank you for tuning in. As I reflect back on my career, I got really into doing music semi-professionally about 10 years ago in the 2006-2007 era. I'm a hip-hop artist, I'm a spoken word artist, and one of the biggest challenges I had and internal conflicts I had and mistakes I probably made is that I got into music, in my opinion, was a very dry, commercially dull era of hip-hop. And so I intentionally went against the grain and didn't make commercial music. I intentionally didn't make music that sounded like the radio. And at times I slipped into this mindset that my art was exclusively for me, that I created for myself, that I made what I wanted to make only to make myself happy, that I was the center of the universe and that the universe needed to pay attention to whatever it is I wanted to share with it and needed to like it. I'm gonna say all of this with the caveat that I'm speaking to people who want to be full-time with their music, with their art, with their cinematography, with their creative entrepreneurial venture. If you're a hobbyist, ignore everything I'm about to say. This does not apply to you. But if you're aspiring to become a full-time creative, I think you should pay attention to what I'm about to say. In seasons of my life, I made music exclusively for myself and what I liked. I was a underground, what you would call conscious backpack rapper, and I just kind of did what I wanted to do, and I would get frustrated when I wouldn't see the needle move and I wouldn't see the sales increase and I wouldn't get booked for a lot of shows, and I was frustrated on why. I knew I could rap and I knew I could make cool music and I knew I put on a good show, but I would get frustrated, and what I was basically doing is I was completely ignoring what was working in the marketplace. Now, the tension is I didn't like what was going on in commercial music, but I really didn't like what was going on in quote-unquote underground hip-hop music. And so I just kind of did what I wanted to do, hoping that people would instantly fall in love with it. And as you guys know, that isn't always how it works. Not considering the market, not considering music that was selling, in a way stifled my own creativity and limited my potential impact, because I wasn't just not paying attention artistically to what was working. I also wasn't paying attention to what was working from a marketing standpoint, what was working from a branding standpoint, what was working from a visual standpoint. I was just so anti-culture that I was up on my own high horse and I thought I knew everything and I thought I was the most talented and I thought I was entitled to success. And as I matured, I started to take more notice, and I started to take notice on what people were into. And so we did this thing called Remix Wednesdays in 2011, where every single week we would drop a song, but it was something that was a remix of a popular song on the radio. So essentially our fans would email us or tweet us and ask us to remix specific songs. And so every week we'd put out a new song based on remixes of popular songs. And what that did for me is, one, I sincerely positioned my heart to be in a place of serving people and desiring to add value. You know, if you reach out to an artist you look up to and ask them to remix a specific song, and all of a sudden they do it and they're like, yo, that's actually pretty cool. And it also opened me up to commercial music and to what was actually working and what was popular and what was selling, and made me understand better why it was selling. I didn't like all the songs we remixed. I still don't like a lot of the music that's on the radio, but I understand why it works and I appreciate why it works, and I'm better able to gauge my place in the marketplace, if that makes sense. Another thing is, when you're very selfish with your music and you're selfish with your art and it's all about you and you're the center of the universe, that type of mindset oftentimes bleeds over into other areas, and it definitely did for me. It bled over into my relationships, bled over into my marriage at times. It bled over into some business associates and acquaintances where I would come off like I knew everything and I had all the answers, and it was all about me, because I had the ultimate vision and I had the ultimate answer to why music was whack, right? And I didn't. That's the truth, is I didn't really know what I was talking about. I just thought I did. So I would encourage young artists, creatives, don't create for other creatives. We did a video on that, we talked about that. But don't create just for yourself and what it is that you want and what it is that you like. Consider the marketplace. Consider what's working. Consider what's selling. Consider what's not selling. Sometimes the move is to do the total opposite of what everybody's doing, right? If everybody is doing, 140 BPM trap beats, maybe you come in with a 90 BPM classic boom bap sound. That's worked for a lot of artists. If we're looking at J. Cole and Kid Afro, who just came up on the scene, works for some of those guys, right? They build a platform very quickly. And so it's important to know what's going on in a marketplace and understand that ultimately this is the business of making music. This is the music business. Business has supply and demand. And a lot of us have a lot of supply with our art, but there isn't a demand for it. So if we're trying to give people something they don't know they want, how are we going to make that transaction? How are we going to build an audience? So I'm not saying do what everybody else is doing and be a carbon copy. I'm not saying ignore what you like and your personal preference. That's not what I'm saying. Make music that you can stand by. Make music that you love. Make music that you're passionate about. But in all of these things, consider people. Consider the marketplace. Consider who are you trying to reach? What is the wavelength that everybody's on, and be intentional about that. I've heard it described that great art is a combination of familiarity and originality. It's familiar enough where palatable to the ears and we can understand it, but it's also original and it's different enough that it can cut through all the noise that's out there right now. And there's a lot of noise out there when it comes to music. So in the comments section, I want to know, do you create art just for yourself? Or are you considering other people? Is it all about you? And is you the center of the universe for your art? Or are you actually engaging and considering other people and considering that your art may actually be a vehicle to help people and touch people in a way that maybe only you can do? And if you made a couple tweaks and a couple adjustments, not sold out, not compromised what you really like, but if you made a couple tweaks and adjustments, it may actually go further and reach more people. So leave me that in the comments section below. Give me a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe, and share it. Thank you for checking us out. Peace.